Hey guys, it's Doc, and today we're going to talk about planting root-bound trees, plants, and shrubs. So hold on one sec. Hey guys, I'm going to break this video into two different parts. I'm actually doing a video right now that is about planting trees and shrubs into clay soils. I mean rock solid, hard red clay or whatever clay you have. So I'm shooting that video right now. But while I'm doing that, I figured I'd go ahead and shoot a little video about root-bound plants. You buy them from the nursery, they're in the containers, and they get root-bound, and how to deal with that. I've got about 22 videos coming out over the next 6 weeks, so if you haven't subscribed, click the little subscribe button, and then if you want to, go to our channel. There's a little bell next to the subscribe button that'll alert you when a new one comes out. Anyways, let's talk about root-bound plants. It's spring and we're buying trees and shrubs and plants, and of course when they come from the nursery, the majority of them are going to be root bound. But the other issue that you're going to have is you're going to have the circular root growth. What's really cool to actually do sometimes is to actually go on Google Images if you want and look for pictures and just type in there circular root growth inside pots. And over the past couple years, there's been a lot of studies in this and a lot of work done on this to explain why it's bad and why you need to solve it. I found some information, some wonderful information out there. But anyways, today I'm going to show you how to deal with that. All right, so we've all dealt with it. We've all gone to the store and we buy a plant, and the plant's all root bound. Root bound is different though than also, I guess it's the same, but it's a little bit different from circular root growth problems, especially with trees and shrubs. You have a container, and as those roots grow, they sort of curl inside that container, and they also grow circular. And I'm going to show you some images of that in a minute. And I'm going to show you how to deal with that. A lot of people, and if you don't have to worry, if it's just an annual plant, you really don't have to worry about it too much. If it's just a small plant, you can just take a razor blade and just score the roots. I just don't like cutting roots a whole bunch, but you can't really separate them on smaller plants. So I'm going to take you over, I'm going to show you a tree real quick. And probably, I haven't looked at it, but I can probably guess it's going to have the circular root problem, which long term for perennial plants and for trees and shrubs is a big problem. Also, planting it wrong is a huge problem. The tag that comes on this thing is wrong, I'll tell you right now. But let's talk about how I solved this problem. Let me put up the video from yesterday showing you I was planting some fountain grass out front yesterday. And man, a lot of these had root bound and they had a circular growth pattern. Now these are perennial plants, this fountain grass. So I want to make sure that the hole is right and that the roots are right, because they're going to be there for years. Again, if it was just an annual, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. And then I'm going to come back and show you this tree. And a matter of fact, the other day I put up some. I'm going to show you how I pull the roots and separate the roots on trees and shrubs. So hold on. Hey guys, here's another good example. I'm planting some fountain grass out here. Let me show you, I'll give you a good example. You can see the roots are already growing through the bottom here on all these, like normal plants. But look at that root ball. And you can see what's going on with the roots. Now these roots are growing just like a regular tree or shrub would grow. Now most people tell you to cut this, which you can, but what I prefer to do is just work these roots out. It takes a little extra time, but just pull these roots and keep pulling on them. Even if they break, it's okay. It's just like cutting them. But sometimes they'll have a little thin layer here, like a cloth kind of membrane that forms. Just keep pulling on these a bit. And now you can see what I'm doing here. Look at that. Look at the difference. So look at the difference. Most people would just stick that into the ground like it is. And I'm going through and pulling these roots out, spreading them out. Now this thing is going to have what I call feet to it. So it's going to have a big impression in that hole. And that's a good example how you can really help newly planted pots or plants around. Just be pretty aggressive. It's okay if the dirt falls out. My dirt's falling out. I'm going to put it back into soil, so I'm not worried about that. But now I'm loosening all these up and stopping that spiral cycle is what I'm trying to do. So now when I put it in, look at all those roots I have. Beautiful stuff. So I'll just set it in some potting soil over here. So I've already got some planting soil inside of here, and now I can spread these roots out nice. And because this is a clay soil, you can see that I'm leaving it a good inch, about 1.5 inches above this top. And I'll do the same thing as I'm doing with my trees, is I'll build up to it. If it needs water, there's going to be plenty of water down in this hole, but I want it to be able to breathe. All right, guys, so what I like to do, like I said, I like to put a wheelbarrow over here. I like to put the tree in the hole on the side, and I'm going to massage these roots, and I'm going to open these roots up. And instead of having them grow in a circular, what I'm going to have them do is I'm going to have them so that they grow out more. All right, so like I said, I'm going to massage this dirt. I'm going to try. Now, this is fairly dry. You want to get them, you don't want it completely dry and kill your plant, but you're just going to basically go in and just sort of just work all this loose. Go in and find the thicker part of the root that's going to go into the center of the tree here. Take this root, give it a yank, and it'll spread way out. Look at that beautiful root. Same thing. Give it a yank, it'll come out. So I'm massaging down here, finding these roots. And if I have to break a few, that's fine. But I'm just sort of pulling them out. So now I have this real wide growth pattern on my roots. So here's a perfect example of a root that was hidden. It's thicker here. And so what I want to do is I want to come up, and I'm taking this root and trying to get it straightened up a bit. Again, all the way down here, pull these roots. Pull these roots. Man, that's a big round root down here. Look at that thing. That was just buried in there in a circle. But every time you get one of these plants, every plant that you buy that comes potted is going to be root bound. So the roots are going to be growing. So as it goes in a container, the roots actually go like this, and they actually spin around. And down the bottom is the worst. And so what I've done is I lay this tree on its side, and I massage the roots and massage the roots and massage the roots. And what I do is I start to pull these roots out one by one. So you can see that these were all tightly wound. All these roots were so tightly bound up in there. It took me a long time to get these out. Now you will end up maybe breaking a few of them, but essentially what you're doing is you're trying to, if you don't unwind these roots, they're going to keep winding. They will never grow. And so what I've done, take a look at my hole. It's not very deep. I'm only planting my tree. It'll end up being about half the root ball will be covered up here, about half the root ball, and then I'll build the soil up to here. Because otherwise in Georgia, it'll sit here and it'll rot in this soil. Some of these roots are big, but you'll see it gets smaller in there. And like I said, you know, they tell you to cut the roots. So don't worry about if you end up snapping a few of them, it's no big deal, but to try and be gentle. All right, so what I'm doing now is I just got some potting soil over here, and I'm gonna take clay soil and potting soil, 4-to-1 ratio, put it into this pot and mix it up. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take, spin it, dirt. So I'm gonna take roots, and I'm gonna keep these roots, and I'm gonna try and get them to stay a little bit out as I do this. Same thing, I'm gonna reach under if I can, pull some roots out. Get you, I'll get you, I'll get you. Hey guys, I hope this video is helpful, and I hope you understand better how that circular root growth is really a killer, especially when you get into trees, shrubs, perennials, things that are going to be there for several years. Again, annuals, I'm not really that worried about it. But you can see behind me, I finished this one. This was the plant that I did yesterday, and I'm doing a full planting video coming up next, so you can watch that, planting in clay soils. Here's one I did a few days ago. So here's one I did a few days ago, and she looks healthy. Now your leaves, I will warn you that your leaves might get a little droopy if you're doing this in the heat. And again, just water lightly several times a day, very lightly, just water it, and it'll take. And I'll show you some tips, and you're wondering why I've got this piece of rebar sitting here. And so that's why you want to watch that planting video that I'll be doing next. But this is mainly I just wanted to talk about this root growth pattern, because it's real important. Anyways, guys, Doc, how you do it? Hope it helped. Click the subscribe button. Got more videos coming out soon. Thanks.